On this episode of Game Shack, Arcade1up is apparently about to release an XL version of their Pac-Man cabinet. I'm going to give you guys some reasons why that's maybe not such a great idea. Coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into the Game Shack. I am your host, JDV. Thank you for stopping by. We really do appreciate your company. If you like this kind of content, give us a thumbs up on the way out the door. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell. It really does help this channel keep going. You guys are our sponsors. All right, so I saw a video from Michael B a couple days ago. Let's check out that video right now. Of course, he's always puts out great content, talking about the fact that someone had seen in the wild the $600 version of Arcade1up's XL Pac-Man cap, complete with 19-inch screen and light-up button. Now, I think most of us would agree that for most cabs, we would like to have a 19-inch screen and a slightly bigger form factor, but I don't think it's such a great idea for lots of reasons. What has really been a down year for Arcade1up, they've only announced 2 new titles, and that being, of course, the Fast and Furious cab and the still yet to be released Wheel of Fortune. And seeing that it's already the end of July, that means we're 7/12 done with the year, and that's all we've seen from the by far biggest company in this market segment, the 3/4 scale arcade company. So that is a rather concerning sign. So the fact that this is just like Fast and the Furious, kind of leaked accidentally, apparently out into the public, is yet another sign that maybe things aren't being run completely right. I mean, what a downer of a way for this to be found out. It's just, hey, look what we found at Walmart. You know, not exactly a way to build up some desire for this cab being leaked the way it is. And of course, if you just spent $500 on a legacy Pac-Man Deluxe cab, and now here comes a bigger version for only $100 more, you gotta be thinking, what the heck? Why didn't they tell us 6 months ago that they were gonna release this? And I think that is a legitimate beef. You see other companies that deal in high-end, relatively expensive tech tell you what's coming down the line all the time. You see it from camera companies, you see it from TV companies, you see it from car companies. You have a general sense of what is going to be released in that year well before it is actually released. Arcade1up does not do that, and that is yet another way to burn a bridge with your existing fan base, is to have one product come out at one price point that's already pretty high, and then a slightly better, bigger product come out at just a little bit more. That's going to leave some people feeling a little raw. But I don't think it should, because I have to be honest with you, of all of the cabs that they could have put out in the 19-inch XL form factor, Pac-Man is one of the ones that they should not have done. It makes no sense for Pac-Man, other than the fact that the cabinet would be just a slightly bigger. Because frankly, the 17-inch screen is the one that works best for one-player games. Games like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, all of the games that come on that cab look just fine on a 17-inch screen. It's the 2-player and 4-player games that really are screaming for the bigger form factor. I mean, 19 inches is just barely going to be big enough on a 2-player cab playing at the same time, and really even still too small for a 4-player cab. But of course, at least it'd be better than the 17-inch game. I mean, I'd be a lot more excited about this announcement if it was in a Golden Axe cab or a Street Fighter cab or Mortal Kombat cab, something where you had 2 to 4 people playing it, because that is where that extra screen size and extra real estate in the control panel and height of the machine actually pays off. Where it doesn't pay off is in a game like Pac-Man. It just doesn't. In fact, that's really almost the perfect form factor is what they have in those deluxe arcade games now. So the fact that they're coming out with this now slightly bigger version is a bit of a head scratcher. Again, they leaked it when maybe they didn't mean to leak it. And it has light up buttons. I don't think that anybody was clamoring for light up buttons on the Pac-Man game. It does make certain sense on some other games, maybe, but not on Pac-Man, which really only needs to have 3-4 buttons tops. I mean, you don't even need that many buttons in a Pac-Man game. Really just 1, 2-player, and fire. That's it. That's all you really need to have in that game. So to have them be 5, 6 light up buttons, okay, I mean, it's not a horrible thing. But it's also one of the easiest things to mod. It's one of the things that, well, if you really want to have light light up buttons really in almost any of these other previous generations, you could do so relatively easy. So again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. At $599, it is still at least $100 too expensive, at least from where I'm sitting. It is, after all, just a one-player game that only has one player at one time going to be able to play on it. Unlike, something like Golden Axe that has 4 players. Well, okay, I can see that being a little bit more money, but it's at least $100 too expensive, at least in my world. And it points out the fact that the other cabs, the deluxe cabs, are also way too expensive. It points out the fact that the new countercades at $299 are way too expensive. So it burns people who already bought into the deluxe Pac-Man cabs who might want that larger form factor. It's an indication that they have too high a pricing across the entire lineup of their games right now. And it's yet another underwhelming drop from a company that really ought to know better by now, especially after the fiasco for Fast and the Furious when it was accidentally released in the booklets that came out in the other deluxe cabs. I mean, if there's any positive to it, it's, well, I guess it's good that Arcade1up is still in business, because that's starting to look maybe a little less like it's going to be true in a few years from now, particularly if they keep burning fans. And hey, we do like the XL form factor, at least for 2 and 4 player games. Again, it does not make a lick of sense for a 1-player cab, but they're trying to squeeze every bit of money that they can out of their existing licenses. That's very clear right now. And Pac-Man, of course, is one of the greatest games of all time, and probably their biggest selling license, that or Miss Pac-Man. So, of course, you should expect to see a Miss Pac-Man version of this cab coming down the line, as well as presumably some of their other more popular games. This is a bad sign. Let's be honest with you. The fact that this has just kind of flopped out into public the way it did, with no fanfare at all. The pricing on this cab is still way too high. It's the wrong cab for the XL treatment, and it is yet another retread in a year that has seen only one new title actually released to the public. I don't know, I'm fingers still crossed. Hopefully we're going to hear a whole bunch more things are going to be released here coming out in August, September, October, November, but that's starting to look more and more like maybe not. All right, so you guys let me know down below what you think. Do you have any interest at all in this XL Pac-Man cab, assuming it's real? And of course it might not be, but let's just assume it is for the sake of argument. I personally am still looking really hard at the deluxe version of the cab. I would not buy this version in the form factor, but who knows? Maybe that extra size is something that you really want, but are you interested at it at a $599 initial MSRP? Let me know down below what you guys think. All right, so that's going to wrap up this episode. Hope you dig it. If you did, give me a thumbs up on the way out the door. It does help us out. Love each other. And until next time, I'll see you guys in a very hot Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit EvilGeniusEntertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.